Hey everybody! So, it's that time of year again. I have just finished this latest sketchbook, which means it's time to do another sketchbook tour. So, a couple of things I want to say first. I started the sketchbook in March of 2020 and then I finished it, I don't know, January-ish of 2021. So it's not quite a year of sketching, but it's pretty darn close. So yeah, I won't spend long talking. There's about 80 pages inside, which means there's a good lot of art in there. Pretty excited to show y'all all this because a lot of the improvement that I made in digital art this year was actually kind of fathered by the behind the scenes traditional art that I've been doing a lot of. So yeah, it should be fun to go through this. One little announcement that I want to make is that a dear friend of mine just started a YouTube channel and she made me this mug. If you can see it, it's really awesome. Yeah, she made me it for Christmas. She's done all kinds of cool art for me in the past. She and I are pretty good friends. And she just started her YouTube channel. So I will put a card to that right here. And if you would like to go subscribe to her and support her, you totally should. She does lots of animations. In fact, she taught me how to animate. So you can thank her for some of the animation in the PMVs that I've done recently, whether or not I've posted them yet. So, yeah, I will link her channel and y'all should totally go check her out and subscribe. She's really nice and does some great content. Now, let's go right into the sketchbook tour. So, the first page, or not even really a page, on the inside, I did like a little, I don't know, welcome drawing. And really what I did here was I blocked the shapes out with the lighter green Sharpie. And then I went over it with a darker Sharpie and I did the lines with my ink pens. And I actually really liked, it's the first time I'd ever tried doing a drawing like that, and I really like how it turned out. And I did it more in the future in the sketchbook. So first drawings in here were Peacemaker, and I don't know why, I've never been a huge fan of Peacemaker, you know, but I just kind of felt like drawing Nightwings, so. Let's see. This was the first time I had drawn humans in like 3 months, and so I was getting back into the swing of it, and it was really hard to remember how to draw humans. But there's a couple of these that I really like. And then this is some crystal drawings that I did. These are with Sharpies where I'd block out the shapes with a light Sharpie and then go over it with a darker color. And I was just experimenting with shading and lighting and stuff, and I really like how a couple of these turned out. You can tell like here where I was trying to figure out how to do it, and like it's super bad, and then here I kind of figured out how it's actually supposed to work. I think these two are my favorite, probably. And then these are just a couple of little sketches that I did. Never really filled out this page. This is Seth from Fablehaven. These are some sketches from Beyonders, which is a series by Brandon Mole. It's really good. It's a trilogy, and it makes me cry every time I read it. This is one of the main characters, Rachel, and then this is side characters right here. This is not even a side character. She's more like appeared for one chapter character. And this is just a dragon. It's not really any character in particular. Here are some headshots. I was experimenting with different ways to make characters of the same tribe look different without color, so that I could kind of tell who was who by like the design that I gave them. And so, you know, you can see kind of with Sandomie's how I use like the frill and the head shape and the eye shape to kind of accomplish that. And then obviously with like Vulture and Blister and Smolder and stuff, there's things like tattoos or just markings. And then like Thorn has, you know, her necklace, or Keebly has his earring. I don't think I have Keebly here actually, but. And then this is Auklet. I felt like drawing a Seawing baby because I wanted to test out some body types. So yeah. And then this is mostly posing practice, and then I shaded, it was like pen sketches, and then I shaded it with like a really light blue pen. Did some head sketches. I don't know what words. There's a word and I'm looking for it and I can't find it. You know, different heads. This is why I'm a genius, because of that right there. Anyways, just more kind of sketching, and then I shaded it with Sharpie. This one I was kind of testing out shading stuff, and then this one's got very limited shading. And then these are just a lot of sketches that I did. A lot of this book is just like sketches that I did when I was bored. Like, most of it's just random stuff that I did. I don't even know if you can see this page. It's so light that I can barely see it. But yeah, more headshots. And I was testing out like posing and view. Still can't find the word. And then this was stuff I did around Easter. And I do date all my drawings because I like to know when I did them because it helps me show how I improved over time. And these are drawings of the 5 main dragon dates except for Sunny, because I started drawing Sunny and then I hated how it looked, so it's very clearly marked not Sunny. And then this is a tree. I can draw like 2 kinds of trees, and so they are the only kinds that I draw. But yeah, I did this and then I colored it with, I think, alcohol markers, which are like markers that are based in alcohol, so they blend really nicely. This is the art of unfinished art. I was gonna draw a birch tree, but I got super bored halfway through, and so I quit. And then I had a sudden urge to draw butterflies and moths. So that's what this page is. I have a monarch, a tiger swallowtail, a luna moth, a painted lady, and a fritillary. And little fun fact, when I was younger, I used to be really into catching butterflies, and I got a bunch of books from the library and learned all the different kinds. And to this day, I remember a lot of stuff about butterflies, that like just random stuff that I read when I was a kid because I thought they were really interesting. And they're actually really fun to draw. The Luna Moth is really pretty. Less details to draw, but like with the fritillary or the painted lady, which look very similar, they were pretty neat to draw. And then we have a random hive wing. I don't even know if you can see this drawing, it's so light. But this is a kind of a butterfly dragon. Like I mixed a tiger swallowtail with a dragon, which I guess the studies from the page before kind of helped me accomplish that. Not sure if I like it a whole lot, but I recall it being fun to draw, so, you know, there's that. More random sketches. I was trying out some, I don't know, more realistic-ish kind of dragons here. You know, I really like this one. I don't like that one. And then this was a test page for the new inking set that I got a couple months ago. I think I got it around June. I ordered some new inking pens, and then I tested them out here. I got a whiteout pen that I tested, obviously, and then this was my other inking pens, and so I just wanted to test to see if they smeared or not, which, like, you can see that they obviously do. So when I use those pens, I always gotta be careful to not smear them. This was another one where I did the shape with the Sharpie and then went over it with the ink. And then these are drawings that I did like on random pieces of paper, but then I taped them in here. This one's kind of a joke. I don't even... It was a project that I was doing, and I drew it like a paper hat turkey. I did it around Thanksgiving, and I put it in the back of my sketchbook for some reason. And that's a random sand wing with soulless dark eyes, and I don't know why it has soulless dark eyes. Anyways, more drawings. I did a lot of human practice in the sketchbook. It's probably got more humans than dragons, I mean, to be honest, because I was trying to learn how to draw human proportions and stuff. And especially later, you can see me practicing a lot with anatomy. Some sea wing headshots, shark, moray, and whirlpool. Again, I was just testing different ways to make dragons of the same tribe look different. And then these were so fun to do. So this is, I blocked out the shapes in the lightest shade of Sharpie. So this one I did pink. Then I went over it with purple. Then I went over it with the dark blue. And then I went over all that with my whiteout pen to add in the features. And I really, really like how they turned out. They're so pretty, and I'm really proud of them. And then I have a couple more on this page. Just testing out different color palettes and stuff. I actually draw a lot with Sharpies. I really enjoy using them. I have 50 or so Sharpies, but I only have one teal Sharpie, and it's running out. It's like super dead, and I'm so sad. Can't find a teal Sharpie anywhere. So this is another one that I did, or I tried to do a full body, but it's harder for me to block out full body shapes because I lose track of the proportions. And you can kind of see that here where the lower body and especially the wing is way too small. But it's not too bad. And then this is an inking thing that I did where I inked the whole thing and then shaded it. And so is this. I just wanted to test out, I guess, more of a comic book kind of style where you have the ink and the shading with the same medium. And then this is storyboarding that I did for my Miracle PMB, which I will put a card to right now that is out. I finally finished it after months. I actually storyboarded it, I don't know, back in May, June. It was way back in the beginning of the year. I just released it this January. But yeah, I storyboarded some of it in here, but I didn't storyboard a lot of it. A lot of it was just kind of improv, which is uncommon for me with a PMB. I prefer to sketch stuff out and storyboard it first. But I storyboarded some of it and then I just was like, the heck with this, I'm drawing it. So, and then some of the storyboard here is actually different than what ended up going into the story, but some of it, like this section, is the same, and these two are the same, so. And then these pages are just empty. And then this is a drawing that I did where it's all Sharpie, and then I just carefully didn't color wherever it's white. That's not white out pen, that's just, I didn't put anything there. And I really like how that turned out. I don't know if it's a Wings of Fire dragon or if it's just a dragon, but I was really happy with it. It was fun to do. And again, that's Sharpie. And this is more inking stuff. When I was practicing humans, I don't know if I'm super happy with this, but it looks okay, so. This is a concept sketch that I did for a watercolor painting I did. It ended up being a great big watercolor painting, and who knows, maybe I'll put a picture of it up here if I'm not too lazy to get a picture. But yeah, I did a big old watercolor painting. I had this concept sketch, then I did a test painting, and then I did the actual, it's like great big, a foot tall painting that I did, and I'm really happy with it. I've been slowly learning how to use traditional watercolors along with watercolor pencils because I'm trying to get back into more traditional mediums of color. So this was one of my concept sketches that I did for that, because I really wanted to mix like a really cool palette of dark blues and fiery oranges and reds and yellows, and it turned out really beautiful. And the funny thing is, I don't know which I like more, my practice or my full piece, because both are kind of different, where I was testing out different techniques with both, and so they both turned out really nice. But anyways, then this page I colored gray with an alcohol marker, and you can kind of see it. And then I went over it with my whiteout pen and my black ink so that I could kind of do this scene. And I really like how it turned out. I kind of did the same sort of thing here, but I used a much darker gray, which didn't look as good. Some other drawings that I taped in from elsewhere. This was one of the first front profiles that I did, and so I was really proud of it and I wanted to put it in. And this is just more sketching stuff. Same here, lots of sketching stuff. So, this is my second ever Ninjago drawing. It's a picture of Nia. I still really like it. There's a little J down here in the corner. I don't know if you can see it, because again, the pencil's kind of light, but I'm really proud of that. That's her season 8 suit, which is one of my favorites for her. And then these are all just random humans that I drew as part of more human practice. So this is actually one of my favorite drawings in the sketchbook because I did a mix of white and black ink to do the line art after I roughed out the shapes with Sharpie, and I just really like how it turned out. I like the color palette, I like the line art and all that. Really proud of that. And then these two are kind of the same technique, but I'm not as happy with them. Really, I really love this one. And then this is some more human practice. A friend of mine was trying to teach me some more pencil drawing techniques, like how to use a blender and stuff, like a pencil blender. And then this is just sketches of some character stuff that I was doing. And then this is a study on hands, because I really needed to practice my hands. I still do, kind of. But I learned a lot here about the shapes that go into the hand. Like there's kind of like a trapezoid, I think. No. Yeah, it's like a trapezoid shape here. And then there's the different finger shapes and the thumb shape. And it really helped me learn the shapes of the hands so that I could come back in a lot of like my PMBs and stuff and later art and draw hands really well, or at least passably well. My big motivation for learning to draw humans was actually a desire to do Ninjago fan art, and so I did all this work to learn anatomy and stuff so that I could come back and draw Ninja later. And the last like eighth of this sketchbook is just Kai. The whole thing is just red ink and pictures of Kai. So, apologies to anyone who doesn't watch Ninjago, but, I mean, I was on a hot streak there. This is some more drawings I did. I was practicing posing here. Not sure if I like some of them, but I do like this one. And then this was another shading kind of exercise that I did. And then I outlined it with this really ugly, like, lime green Sharpie, and I thought that would help, and it didn't. So, it's okay, I guess. And these are some more line art and ink drawings that I did. I was just testing out shading techniques again. And then more human drawings. Lots of human drawings in this sketchbook. And then these were kind of the first watercolor pencil drawings that I did more crystals and just a couple nature-y stuff here. A friend lent me some watercolor pencils, and then I recently bought my own set. And I really like watercolor pencils because I prefer things to be pretty precise usually when I draw. And so watercolor paintings have been an exercise in patience for me, that's for sure. But I really like the watercolor pencils because I can still be precise and also get that really nice sort of look that you get with watercolors. So watercolor pencils have been really nice. And then this was more sketching stuff I did for the Phoenix drawing. You can kind of see where I was testing out wings, and then I had like my composition, and I had to measure my frames and cut the paper the right length and stuff. So this is kind of less art and more mechanics page. This is some inking stuff that I did. It's really cool. I like it a lot, where I drew these panels that I had, and then I went over it with white ink like here, and then this is just paper where I didn't draw. These aren't really any characters in particular. I don't know. I like drawing humans with wings. I've written a couple stories with winged humans. None of these are characters from my books though, so it doesn't really make any sense as to why I drew them. But I did, and I enjoyed myself, so, you know. And then these are some more watercolor test drawings that I did. I was testing how watercolor would act with different inks that I could use for line art. And then this is kind of where I put down colors and wrote the names next to them so I'd have a color reference sheet. Then this is like a watercolor kind of a set drawing that I did, similar to one that I did in an older sketchbook that I actually have a sketchbook tour up somewhere. Like, I don't know, foresty mage stuff. I was testing shading and stuff by using the black ink and then doing line art where the shade would be, and then just leaving it empty where the light is hitting it. And the potion bottle here looks nice. Mushrooms are always fun to draw, and the feathers look neat. So I'm pretty happy with this drawing, honestly. And then this is one of my favorite ones in the whole sketchbook. I know that I've done a speed paint in the past for a drawing similar to this that I did for a friend. This was the original kind of test that I did in my sketchbook. And basically, I sketched the feathers very lightly with pencil. I went over it with a gradient with my watercolor pencils. I used the water to, you know, do the thing. And then I went over it with my whiteout pens. So if you're interested in how I did this, looking at the process, you are welcome to check out the speed paint. I'll put a card right here so that you can see that. It was really fun to do, and I love how it turned out. I think if I was going to do it different, the one thing I would change is to have less pink and more of the darker blues in these, because I accidentally put too much pink in a lot of these, and then I struggled to make the whiteout show because this pink is really light. So if I was to do it again, I would shift the gradients a bit more so that there was just a little bit of pink and more darker colors to help the whiteout stand out. And then this is some more sketching stuff. This was a ink drawing that I did traditional watercolor over to see how watercolor would react with inks. Just a random budwing, no one in particular. And then this is more of the kind of like panel inking that I did. This one I did the wings in whiteout for some reason, not sure why. This one I did like a whole stone background. I have no idea what's going on in any of these pictures, by the way. I had snow and wood, and this background I'm actually really proud of because it was super complicated and hard to do. But this was some test stuff that I did for another watercolor piece that I did for a friend for her birthday. I did watercolor art for the poem from Lord of the Rings, All That Is Gold Does Not Glitter. I did it in calligraphy and then did watercolor art around it. So I have like gold and fire and roots and ice and stuff. And if you know the poem, then you'll understand that it corresponds with that. So this was kind of my test page before I moved on to the actual piece. And this is perspective practice with flying. So I have like front view, above, beside, this weird angle, under, just testing out what it looks like when a dragon flies from different angles. I really like this one, and this one's kind of like, I was running out of patience, and so I just did that. And then this is taking off practice. I don't know if I still have it anymore. If I do, I'll put it on the screen. I ended up doing like a little test animation with this because I wanted to kind of rough out how a dragon would take off and land. And then these were just some thoughts I had and then stuff that I wrote. And then this is a little bit more concept art for a couple different things that I did. Tested out some colors here, lots of sketchiness on this page. This is more human practice. This is a random eyeball. It's a Lego thing. Kudos if you can figure out what character from Ninjago it's from. I mean, the eyebrow should be a dead giveaway, but whatever. And then this is some art that I did of myself. I just thought it was really neat to have the black ink and then use some really thin Sharpies to add those colors in. And then you'll actually notice that I have a whiteout picture very similar to this. That was based off this. I did this several months ago, and then the whiteout picture was more recent. And this is some more sketchy stuff, just testing out some calligraphy and then a couple crystals. And then this is human drawings where I was practicing kind of shading with pencil and stuff. A Jedi that someone asked me to draw, and they said it looked like a girl. But Jedis have long hair. I mean, did anybody watch the prequel and see Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn with super long hair? I mean, what do you want me to do? Anyways, just, you know, shading with pencil and stuff. And then there's a little Cole from Ninjago because my sister requested him doing the arm muscle show-off pose, whatever you call it. So there's that. Not super happy with it. This is, I found a drawing book somewhere, like a pencil sketchbook, and so this is one of the poses in it. It wasn't exactly like this, but I took the pose and then the technique, and then I learned a little bit about blending and lighting with pencil and stuff, so that was kind of interesting. And then this is a mermaid that I drew. Someone asked me to draw a mermaid, so I just did it. And I'm really happy with how it turned out, actually. I've always been into more, I don't know, like there's a couple different ways that people will draw mermaids, and I've always been in the camp of more sea themed, I guess. So you can kind of see that in the fins with the ears and stuff. And I didn't really go all out here, because I was on a time constraint. Yeah, I think I drew this for the tail end of Mermaid, which is like in the month of May people draw mermaids a lot, and they call it Mermaid, kind of like Inktober. You can kind of see where I dated it here. And I meant to do some mermaid drawings, but I totally forgot. And then I kind of like caught the tail end of it. I do remember when I drew this one, I was binging some old A-Team episodes. And this is how you know that I'm truly an old lady, because A-Team is like an older show. One of those really cheesy, you know, shows from back in the old days, with lots of like car chases and explosions and stuff. I love it. It's a nostalgic thing for me. But I drew this after watching one of the episodes, and then I drew that too. I kind of drew it while I was watching because I wasn't really paying attention, but you know. And then this is a picture of Queen Snowfall that I did after I heard that she was going to be the main character for book 14, and I needed to practice drawing ice wings, so. This is some headshot practice that I did, a sand wing, a rain wing, and a sky wing, just sketchy stuff. Sharpie sketches, I used to draw a ton of mandalas, and so I felt like getting a little bit back into the old swing of things with this page. I used to do this all the time, so. Another dragon where I roughed out the shapes and then did it with Sharpie, did the roughing out with Sharpie and then went over it with white ink. And you'll notice the wings are missing. I did not notice this until after I'd completed the drawing, and at that point I was like, I'm not adding wings, so I forget the wings a lot with these drawings. They get in the way sometimes, and sometimes I'll just draw dragons and be like, it doesn't have wings, and I refuse to be sad about that, so. And then this is more sketching with rain wings and stuff, practicing front view, and then just different posing and stuff. I did a art tutorial where it was like a face tutorial, and that's why it looks a little bit different than my normal stuff, because it was a little bit closer to like, I don't know, Disney style of art. So that's what that is. And then this is art stuff like character conception that I did for a couple of characters that I want to write about in the future. And then this is a sketchy page. A friend demanded that I draw a cat. It was really, really, really bad, so I crossed out its face because I couldn't bear to look at it. And then like lots of just little random stuff on this page, like faces and stuff. I really like that little face. It's cute. But yeah, this was just random sketches and stuff. An ink drawing, a Gregor the Overlander piece. I read that series. It's by Suzanne Collins. She wrote The Hunger Games. I read it at the request of a friend several months ago. Really liked it. So I had to draw a little bit of stuff from it, and then I drew this, which is like more inking practice. And this is another sketchy page. There's a coffin marked Frankie Santana, and that's kind of a funny story. It's back to A-Team again. There's a character in the 5th season of A-Team, which I refuse to watch because it's lame, and I won't even go into it because I'll get mad. But there's this guy named Frankie Santana who comes in, and my sister Aubrey loves the dude for some reason. And so this was like my revenge, I guess. I don't know. I don't like the 5th season because they totally changed it up. And really, I only like the first 3 seasons, and season 4 can slide in, but season 5 is like, ugh. So, yeah. And then some more sketchy practice. Like I was practicing a wing here, and some more faces and stuff. Potion bottles, and these were so fun to draw. I'm so happy with how they turned out. Practicing different gradients and stuff with the watercolor pencils, and then shapes and sketching. I sketched it with pencil, and you can still see that, and then I went over it with watercolor pencil, and I really like how these turned out. I think they're so pretty. This is a sea wing that I drew. Not sure what's going on here, but I felt like drawing like a little bit of a darker piece. A rain wing that I sketched in light blue pen and then went over with my inks and then shaded with light blue. A crouching mud wing, I was practicing perspective again. And then someone requested a unicorn, so a unicorn, behold. I don't draw unicorns very often. Some mushroom practice. I really like mushrooms. I think they're really cool, so a couple different kinds here. Some calligraphy practice. Not sure I like how this turned out, gonna be honest. I drew a fig. I really like figs. There's a lot of fig trees around where I live, and figs are delicious. I love figs. So I drew a bucket of figs because they're good. Different calligraphy practice I did, and then a little ice wing sketch. And more human practice. Got into a little bit more dynamic posing here, and then practicing some armor, and these are just sketches. And then this was kind of a drawing challenge that I did with a friend. We were both gonna draw like kissy pictures, I guess. So yeah, kissy pictures. These are 2 characters from a book that I wrote and then scrapped, and I'm planning on rewriting it. So this was just some more concept art for that. And then this is the first of kind of like my concept sketching for human practice. I watched a couple really, really good tutorials on how to draw humans, and so this was kind of where I was like testing out different proportions and stuff and using shapes to draw. The tutorial that I watched, the guy recommended you do a square for the head, for the ribs and the hips, and then you can kind of use lines to go off that. And as I've drawn more humans, I've adjusted that to work for me a little bit better, but it was really good practice for me to finally kind of get into more dynamic poses than just standing straight and staring ahead. So yeah, more practice. I really like that one and that one. And then I have like a dopey looking angel or something there, so a little bit more practice. It was fun. And then yet again, more practice. I have some like sword fighting poses, practicing head shapes and stuff here, and then just again composition and stuff. It was good practice. Drew some Lego dudes. This is not a con. And Kai and Zane, and then a Sokka head and nothing else. And I think this was Marosir, but I don't know who I meant to be. This is Sokka Kai. A really dumb drawing that I came up with. I just feel like Sokka and Kai would be bros. I mean, they're older brother protective characters, and they would just get along so well. And then this is like a little bit of a foray into medieval type dresses, which I hate drawing, but I wanted to practice a little bit. And then I had like a the hairstyle that I wanted to practice. So this was some test stuff for a thing that I did. It's not really art. And then this is like a drawing. I think I wanted it to be a djinn or a genie, but I'm not sure like what it is. Anyways, it's just a drawing that I did. I really like it. And then this is the beginning of the end, because this is where the Ninjago art starts. I couldn't control myself. Leave me alone with a sketchbook, and I default to Ninjago. I mean, it's a good show, and I'm not ashamed to be obsessed with a show meant for 10-year-olds. Anyways, this is like a shirt meme, and it's, I'm the oldest, I make the rules. I'm the middle, I'm the reason we have rules. I'm the good one, I play by the rules. And I'm the baby, the rules don't apply to me. And I've always found this meme really funny because I'm an older sibling, and I have a ton of siblings. And like, back in the day, if I had known about this meme, I would have totally gotten the 6 of us shirts that was some variation of it. And then this is some more practice that I did with like older dress styles and then kind of armor stuff. And then this is a Kai. I did a lot of like sketching where I'd sketch it with pencil and then go over it with Sharpie to do shading and stuff. So got a lot of good practice there. And you'll see that Kai's hair changes every single time I draw him, up until like really recently when I started doing him in digital art and I finally got his hair down. I couldn't figure out what side I wanted it to flip to. I couldn't figure out how I wanted it to look, but I think I finally got it down. So this was some character sketches of some of my friends' characters that I did as a gift for her. I really like this girl's dress. It looks good. And then this is a whiteout sketch where I inked it and then went over it with whiteout pens. And these are just quotes and stuff that I want to draw. A little tiny pixel up here. More Kai stuff. This is one of my favorite incorrect quotes ever, so I had to draw it with Kai. It felt like something he would totally do. A dragon ramming its head into the wall. I was trying to do like a test animation of a dragon hitting its head in the wall. I'd never finished it because I didn't know how to animate with in-betweens and keyframes and stuff back then, so I did it all wrong and it was hard. But yeah, this was kind of my concept sketch for that. And then this is more incorrect quote stuff. More sketches of my friends' characters. And then this is more Ninjago stuff. Except for that, that's not Ninjago. That was side profile practice. There's a very bored Kai, and I'm actually still really in love with this drawing. And then the everlastingly funny joke with Zane and his apron. Let's see, another dragon, head stuff, a tiny Nia, the elf from the previous page. I don't know if it's character concepts yet, but I do feel like this is a character that might appear in some of my writing in the future. More headshot practice, a Lloyd that I'm not very happy with. So Lloyd's hair was so hard for me to draw, and I only recently figured it out because I was doing this Lloyd PMV, the ghost PMV. I don't know if I posted it yet because I recorded this a while ago. But it took me forever to figure out Lloyd's hair, and now that I have figured it out, I'm like super happy. But more Kai, and then some dragon practice, doing like a chibi, and then laying down a forest where I was practicing different layers of shading and stuff. I think it turned out really well. I'm actually pretty happy with that. And then this is sketchy stuff I did. I drew a pineapple. I was testing it for my drawing of Sunny and pineapple. I needed to kind of like make sure that I could actually draw a pineapple. And then more sketching and stuff. And this marks one of the huge gaps in the sketchbook where like I drew this in like, I don't know, August, and then this is like October. And this isn't even really a character. I teach a writing class at a homeschooling co-op, and one of my students got into my sketchbook and drew this beautiful thing. And I loved it so much because it was a sweet kid, and I loved it so much that I had to leave it in there. And then the kid requested, I told the kid that I'd draw something for him, and he had to tell me the features, and so he was obviously like messing with me. And so he was like, give him an eye patch and spiky hair and swords. And so that's where this monstrosity comes from. Yeah. So then this is some more exercises that I did in pencil sketching with a friend. She was trying to get me to learn pencil sketching, so I was using a blender to do that. And then that's a drawing of Nia from Ninjago. It's okay. I'm pretty happy with it. A couple things I'd do differently if I did it again, but overall I'm very happy with it. And then this is just a bunch of sketches that I did of roses. I was bored. I used to draw roses a lot. I had one of those drawing books for kids, and it had a page about roses. And I don't know why, but it stuck with me for a long time. To this day, apparently, because I can still draw a pretty good rose. I mean, these aren't bad looking. And then that's just with thin Sharpies. So this was practicing drawing hoods because I've always wanted to know how, and so I had to practice to learn how. A couple more Ninjago sketches, and then one little random dragon thrown in. I did this tree with watercolor pencils, and then black inks to do kind of some of the shading. A Kai and a Lloyd. This is from when I figured out how to draw Kai's hair. And this is from before when I figured out how to draw Lloyd's hair. And you can definitely tell. Lloyd doesn't look great, but Kai looks really, really good. I really like that drawing of Kai. And then this is like November. This is all November, and then this is still back in like October. There was huge gaps between stuff in this sketchbook because I got busy again, and then I did a lot of digital art and less traditional art. This is a little drawing of Blue. This is Skylar, and she's so pretty. Like, she's so fun to draw. This is that little elf character again that I keep drawing, and like at that point when I drew this, I was sure that she was going to be a character. This is like a little test sketch that I did with silver Sharpie in the background and then using black and white inks to do that. And then this is kind of a funny drawing for me. I was drawing ice, but then I stopped in the middle of the drawing to let it dry, and then I got sidetracked and I never came back to it. And then I returned the watercolor pencils to the friend who had lent them to me because she needed them back. And then I came back to this drawing and I was like, wait a minute, I never finished it. So I had to like go through and finish it with blue ink instead of watercolor pencils because I'd given them back. And this was before I bought the set that I have now. So there's that. And then this is actually, we're getting like really close to the end now. And this is the end. On the last page, we have a couple terrible drawings of Kai and Lloyd and one semi-good drawing of crystals. Actually, yeah, I've gotten into crystals a lot lately, and I actually really like how this turned out. This is with the new watercolor pencils that I got. I tested them out and then used some inks to kind of go in with shading. And I'm not too displeased with how that turned out. So that wraps up the sketchbook tour. I hope you guys liked it. I hope it wasn't too rambly. Again, unscripted, like, you know, actual video filming here. Not great at it, but hopefully I'll get better in the future. This was about 10-ish months of drawing. And like for this whole section, I was like, I did all this in like 6 months. And then this is all like where I was slacking off toward the end. So it's kind of a mixed bag, but I feel like I made a lot of progress from this page to this page, and I feel like I learned a lot, especially about humans. Within the pages of the sketchbook is my journey of learning to draw humans, and now I can draw them reasonably well, and I'm really, really proud of myself for that. Like, drawing humans has always kind of been that one thing that I couldn't do, and now that I finally know how to do it, I'm so proud of myself for sticking with it and actually learning proportions and stuff. So it was a massive kind of undertaking for me, but I figured it out. I'm so proud of myself for sticking with it, because now I can do Ninjago art all the time, right? Yeah. For anybody who is into digital art, I would advise to keep a sketchbook if you're into that kind of thing, because it's a really good way to practice and not really worry about, you know, perfection, because a lot of the stuff in here is just like this. It's not great, but I was just practicing proportions and stuff. And so it's a good way to just learn more about your art style and stuff, and it can be really fun to branch out into some creative traditional medium like watercolor, which I'm working on learning still right now. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will link my Redbubble and DeviantArt pages in the description. That's where you guys can check me out, support me on Redbubble. I got lots of cool stickers and shirts and stuff on there. That money helps me out. It pays for supplies and, you know, material and time and stuff. So that's always great. Don't forget to comment and like and subscribe. Feel free to ask any questions you want in the description. I always read all the comments. I do my best to answer questions as long as I have the time. I think that's all I have to say, which means I better close out before I get a little bit too rambly. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope everyone has a wonderful week, and I will see you next Sunday with some more content.